Hi, my name is Julie Vancat. I'm the instructor for Theology 360, Women in the Christian Tradition. I live here in Omaha. I've lived here my whole life. I've been married for 21 years to my husband, Dan. We have 5 kids. My oldest is 20. Her name is Rose. I have an 18-year-old named Hannah, 16-year-old named Maggie, an 11-year-old named Molly, and an 8-year-old named Jake. So you can imagine my life is very busy. In addition to that, I teach full-time at Mercy High School. I've taught there for 20 years. And I've been teaching for College of St. Mary's for the past 4 years. I'm really excited about the content of the class, Women in the Christian Tradition. I hope you really enjoy what you're studying as well. Some of the guidelines or some of the projects that you'll do, I want to explain briefly. So first of all of you will participate in a discussion. There'll be 10 of them. Every time you participate in one, there's a question that I've already posted. It deals with the reading material. Make sure when you're responding that you reference the reading material. And there's kind of a guideline for how many words in the syllabus. Also, the next day after that, you'll comment on one other person's post. And just make sure when you do that that you are saying something specific about what they wrote, not just, great post, I loved what you wrote, or something like that. Try to be specific. Other requirements for the class are that you will take a quiz on the first 2 Fridays and then a test on the 3rd Friday, then 2 more quizzes the next 2 Fridays, and then the final. And just so you understand that, the quiz that you'll take this Friday will be over the reading material. You'll have 45 minutes to answer 20 questions. You should look over the material first and make sure you've studied some before you start, but of course you can use your notes in the book. And a tip that I have for you when you're taking the quiz is I always give the quiz a name. I give the question a name, sorry. So make sure you look at what the name is for the question. That should zero in on what I'm asking about so you can find the right chapter or the right PowerPoint, and that should make it easier for you to find the answers quickly. As far as the PowerPoints go, I do have a PowerPoint for every chapter for the most part in the books that you're going to read. You're going to read this book, Women in the New Testament, and you're going to be reading this book called Her Story. These are the 2 texts that you should have. In addition to that, there'll be articles, a few articles that I've posted that are more near the end of class. But anyway, so I have a PowerPoint for all the material, and my PowerPoints tell you important information, ask good questions, and so you should take notes as you read on the PowerPoints, and that should also help you with the quizzes and the tests. The research paper that you're going to write is due next Tuesday, the 24th. The research paper is on a paper about topics concerning the Virgin Mary. So there's really 3 choices. You can write about a Marian apparition, which would be one of the hundreds of times that Mary has appeared to people. The Catholic Church has approved, I think, 7 or 9 of these apparitions, but there's a lot more than the approved ones. So you could write about an approved one or one that has yet to be approved. One of the ones that hasn't been approved yet is the apparition in Medjugorje, which is pretty famous. So you could write about 1 or 2 of those. You could even compare common, elements or themes within the apparitions. Another topic would be Marian devotion. So you could do a paper on the origin of the rosary or some of the different novenas that we have to Mary. Or you could do a paper on the doctrine about Mary. So that would be like the teaching of the Immaculate Conception, the teaching of the Assumption, the teaching of her perpetual virginity. One of those things, all of that is talked about in the syllabus. If you look at the end, you're going to see some of the rubrics and some guidelines for all the papers in the project. I also have that separate as a tab that's called Course Resources. So you might, just to make it easier, I put it by itself too at the end of all the weeks listed under lessons. So you can find the guidelines and criteria for that there. Essentially, it's a 4 to 6 page paper. It has to be typed. It has to have a works cited. You need 4 outside sources. Okay? Another paper that you'll write will be a reaction paper, and it will be reacting to a movie that you watch. So I've listed a bunch of movies. All of them deal with extraordinary, admirable Christian women. And so you watch the movie and then you react to it. That's a 2 to 3 page paper. And again, the guidelines and what to write about are in the course resources, which are in both the syllabus and separately in that lessons tab. The third thing that you'll do for the class is you'll do a presentation. And the idea is to look at the condition of women today and to talk about how we as Christian women should respond to help our sisters across the globe. And that will be a presentation that you videotape. You can use Tegrity to videotape that, or you can use whatever video camera you have on your computer and then upload it to YouTube. Those are the two most successful ways of getting this project done. And that's in the 5th week of the class. Okay, so they're kind of spread out, but just so you know, you'll do the quizzes, you'll do the tests, you'll do the 2 papers, the presentation, and the discussion posts. And that's basically what you're expected to do for the class. I want to talk about the material for this week of the class a little bit. All of it deals with the Bible. There is a PowerPoint that I'm having you look at that deals with Old Testament women. The book that you'll start with does not talk about that, but I think it's important, a foundational thing for you to understand about these women. And it should be said right now that anytime that you're reading in the book or seeing on this PowerPoint these biblical women and you've never heard their stories before, then please go to the Bible first and read their story from the Bible, and then read the PowerPoint slide or read the chapter. And usually on the slides, I try to put where you can find it in the Bible. A little bit about the Bible. The Bible is not organized chronologically. A lot of people think that Genesis was the first book written. The Bible is actually organized by genre or type of writing. So the first 5 books are the law books, and then it's the historical books. Then it's the writings, and then the prophets in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, it's organized by Gospels, then the Acts of the Apostles, which is a historical book, then all the letters are together, and then the book of Revelation, which is apocalyptic. It's kind of end of the world writing. Anyway, just want you to understand too that the Bible was written by men, for men, about men. So any mention of women is pretty extraordinary to begin with. And that's just because of the time, how it was then. It's not any commentary on how it should be today. And I do want to explain the difference between those two things. A lot of times when we're reading the Bible, we'll talk about whether a passage is descriptive or prescriptive. Descriptive would mean that it's describing how things were then, and prescriptive means it's saying how things should be. And so there's a lot of debate among theologians over most passages in the Bible over whether what was said was descriptive or prescriptive. And this is important when we talk about women, because there's a lot of passages in the New Testament that say things like women should never speak in church, or wives be submissive to your husbands. And again, the question is, was that describing how it was or how it should be? And I think that's vitally important to what we study together. Anyway, as you read about the Bible, just also keep in mind that every book has probably a different author. We're not 100% sure on who authored the books. They're all written to different audiences. They all have different agendas they're trying to, reach. So keep in mind that there's some contextual things about what's written that we don't fully know. And most of what we think about those things, we're guessing. Okay? So as you're reading, just have those things kind of in the forefront of your mind. And whenever you have questions, any questions that you have about the projects, the quizzes, the papers, any of it, please let me know. The best way to get a hold of me is through email. If you have to get a hold of me quickly, you have my phone number on the syllabus. And I'm also happy to make any appointments to Skype with people so we can talk face-to-face about things. Okay, so good luck with everything this week. Let me know your questions. I might be posting something again later this week about the paper. Whenever I post outside of the Monday Tegrity videos, I will send an email so that you know to watch an extra video. But otherwise, you'll watch a video every Monday. Okay? So it's great to meet you all. I'm looking forward to teaching you. I hope it's a great semester or term. And enjoy the reading. Bye.